Hello and welcome to this week's Speedrun. This week in gaming, Pokemon Go players rise up, McDonald's messes up, and the Back 4 Blood beta goes down. Let's jump in. If you thought the craziness of the Olympics ended with the closing ceremony, you've got another thing coming. There is currently a petition to make Yu-Gi-Oh! An Olympic sport. Excuse me if I say the name wrong, but Shi and Zhao, the petition makers, said, quote, "It is an absolute injustice that the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the trade carding game, is not a legitimate sport in the Olympics. The playing of Yu-Gi-Oh! Requires dexterity when drawing the cards, athleticism when playing the cards, and endurance when you're in round 10 of a YCS, end quote. Zhao is definitely reaching on this one, but he almost has 15,000 signatures supporting him. If skateboarding just got into the Olympics, then Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a long way to go. It might be a while before it's time to duel. Fortnite presented the Rift Tour with Ariana Grande, and it was the most fun 15 minutes I've had in Fortnite in a while. All I wanted was 7 rings, so after the first song, I was content. But the show was honestly really amazing just to have a concert experience like that. 2 weeks ago, McDonald's Australia announced they would be giving away limited edition PS5 controllers, to which PlayStation promptly responded with, "No." It turns out that McDonald's was never approved to use the DualSense controller as promotional material, and the mock-up was never meant to be advertised. I'm sure somewhere Ronald is shaking his head. It was Masahiro Sakurai's birthday on the 3rd of August, and it looks like he had fun. He was surprised with an assortment of gifts that Google Translate probably didn't correctly identify, but I can see a Gundam figure which looks pretty cool. And the surprises kept coming this week. New PSVR 2 details were revealed at a recent dev summit. As of now, it's being referred to as the codename NGVR, standing for Next Gen VR. The most important stat for me involves the haptics inside the headset that will help remove motion sickness, because that is honestly the only thing holding VR back. Rumor has it that a Metal Gear Solid project and a Silent Hill project from Konami are to be announced, according to comicbook.com. Both games are rumored to go onto the PlayStation platform, with Hideo Kojima involved with both projects. Now we have rumors that conflict with each other. That being that Konami is working with Microsoft to create a cloud-based game. As much as I want there to be a new Metal Gear, I find it unlikely that if there is one, Kojima will be involved. I can totally see, however, Kojima pursuing the cloud-based gaming experience because it's a new medium for him to test the limits of. Niantic, the studio behind Pokemon Go, is reconsidering removing the social distancing feature from the game after Pokemon Go fans pull out their virtual pitchforks. This feature allows players to use Pokestops from a distance, allowing them to safely continue to play Pokemon Go. With the feature removed, players would potentially have to risk gathering to continue to play the game. Kotaku reported Niantic's response, saying that these changes have only been applied to New Zealand and the US because of the updated health guidelines. For one thing, the US is definitely not the place you want to encourage people to gather right now, so I can definitely understand the player complaints. Also, I don't see who benefits from having smaller Pokestops unless it costs money to make the radius bigger, so I'm with the fans on this one. Microsoft is adding a night mode to the Xbox dashboard, which allows you to dim console and controller LEDs and add a blue filter to the screen. This feature actually has a surprising amount of customization, which is neat, but I don't find it entirely necessary. I already have the blue filter turned on to practically every screen that I use, so I guess if I want to be extra safe, I'll turn it on. I also don't want to add a blue filter to recording, so I'll probably skip this feature. Several indie developers have teamed up to create a collective called the Indie Houses, and they will have a showcase on August 31st. The team is made up of devs like Fellow Traveler, Those Awesome Guys, and Raw Fury, to name a few. In an interview with IGN, a representative said, quote, "Indie Houses aims to promote an environment that is centered around the sharing of knowledge between publishers rather than cutthroat competition," end quote. I think it's awesome to see indie devs support each other, so I'm wishing them the best of luck. Plus, if we can see some future collaborations between the development teams, who knows what possibilities await. Dotemu is being acquired by Focus Home Interactive, the publisher behind Vampire and A Plague Tale: Innocence. Dotemu is the team behind the amazing Streets of Rage 4, Windjammers, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game, scheduled to arrive later this year, which looks like it was ripped right out of an arcade cabinet. I am so happy for Dotemu. Getting acquired by a publisher is going to help them get the security they need to hopefully be around for years to come. I'm curious as to how this development could impact Metal Slug Tactics, which doesn't currently have a release date. I think there probably won't be any changes there, but it is something to keep an eye on. Evil Dead the game is set to release in February 2022, with a single-player option being added to the game. If you love playing Friday the 13th, then I highly encourage you to check this game out. Although this game isn't made by the Friday the 13th team, the gameplay looks like it was ripped right out of it. Digital Eclipse has started a campaign to have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 re-released after following an online campaign from Maximilian Dude. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was a big part of the fighting game community, which is why fans are upset that the game hasn't been available to purchase for the past 8 years, limiting the game's success and fanbase. I know the Persona 4 re-release on Steam did wonders for the Persona community, but let's hope Disney and Capcom will hear their fans out. Ghost of Tsushima's Legends multiplayer mode is becoming its own standalone game on PS4 and PS5 for $19.99. The multiplayer mode will also be expanding on September 3rd with a new Rivals mode, which seems like a kill-confirmed game mode. The expansion will also feature new cosmetics and trophies. I think this is a really interesting move on Sucker Punch's part. I like the Legends mode, but I think most people that play the game are there for the single-player story. In fact, I think the single-player story enriches Legends mode since you get to fight legendary battles in the game. I haven't played Legends mode since its release, so I'm not sure if the combat has improved, but from my knowledge, the combat in the main game is so much better with so many options on ways to approach objectives. If you are solely a multiplayer gamer, then I guess this would be a good buy. Otherwise, just keep buying the main game. You still get the Legends mode and way more by doing so. Street Fighter V unveiled the final fighter for their Battle Pass, and fans were not happy to see another blonde-haired, blue-eyed fighter. At least they weren't on Twitter. I don't play Street Fighter often, but this feels like the Fire Emblem situation in Smash. Nintendo, if you're listening, first off, I love you. Second, please don't reveal another Fire Emblem character. I will literally be okay with anyone else. Please, Nintendo. And Sad Boy Hours news, another Sega arcade is closing down. In September, the Sega arcade in Ikebukuro is closing down for good due to a fixed-term building license according to Nintendo Life. Nintendo Life also reported that the growth of home consoles and the pandemic probably played a part in this since tourism creates a lot of revenue for these arcades. I hope other Sega arcades find a way to stay open because they are such huge monuments to the gaming community and I hate to see them slowly fading away. Now time for some game updates. Splitgate is the relatively new free-to-play arena shooter on the block where gunplay meets portals. The game has been in beta for a while now and has really picked up steam the last few weeks. Splitgate's growth was so unexpected for developers that they decided to push the game's official release to August to adjust the servers. The game releases on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. You can still try out the beta now on Steam, and based on what I've heard from my friends, I definitely have to try it out too. The Back 4 Blood beta opened up and I couldn't get into it because my Twitch drops broke. It looked really fun though, and I got to watch a few streamers really enjoy the game. The card system is a bit confusing to me, but it seems that most people understand the system after playing with it. I think Turtle Rock Studios will have some adjustments to make to the PvP however, since it's not widely liked by players with some possible balance issues. Amazon is having some success with New World being the best-selling game on Steam 2 weeks ago with over 200,000 players according to Steam database. New World is an MMO with a PvP focus from my understanding. The pre-order beta went live on July 20th. The Spiker players has since dropped from 200k to just over 200. Amazon has some fierce competition in Final Fantasy XIV with a more consistent player base. Now on to the games coming soon, starting with Xbox. Hades will be coming to the Game Pass on August 13th, and of course you should try it out. If you've never played a roguelike or really like Diablo-style games, this is a must-play. Foreclosed comes out on August 12th, and this might be one to watch out for. It's a cyberpunk-themed game with the story told in comic book fashion. The game's combat left a little to be desired in the trailer, but there is the possibility of upgrading your moveset since we see telekinesis used along with gunplay. I told y'all I'm a sucker for a great atmosphere, and this game looks like it could deliver. Dodgeball Academia is out now on Windows 10, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. As a part of the PC gaming show, this indie game showed a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. Moving on to PlayStation, A Short Hike is coming to PS4 this fall. I learned about this adorable indie through Noodle's video on a ton of great indie games, which you should check out. I will 100% be adding A Short Hike to my list, which is something I've never said before. Axiom Verge 2 will be coming to PlayStation later this year. The developer Tom Happ created an article for PlayStation Blog talking about his experience being a solo developer and how he keeps himself motivated by pushing the game's limits. Axiom Verge 2 is a 2D Metroidvania that expands upon the great success of the first by creating two worlds you can explore. HAP allows players to explore a world called the Breach, which seems to be similar to the Upside Down concept in Stranger Things. He also hopes this system will allow for non-linear exploration for players to enjoy the game at their own pace. Whether or not you're interested in playing Axiom Verge 2, you have to admit that this is impressive. Carrion is coming to PS4 sometime in the near future. Carrion is a reverse horror game that allows you to play as an alien creature, Carrion, that wakes up in a lab with two objectives: escape and consume. Using your tendrils to navigate this 2D platformer, you'll scare the crap out of some scientists and gain new abilities along the way. And ending it with Nintendo, Mario Golf is getting free DLC content with Toadette added to the roster. They've also added New Donk City as a location, as well as ranked matches. And the competition doesn't stop there. Pokemon Unite is making some changes to the balance of the Unite battles, which should make for a more fun, competitive experience. Especially when you hate getting destroyed by Snorlax and Lucario. Thanks, guys. So how was this week in gaming? What news did you hear that I missed, and what games have you been playing recently? I recently hosted a charity stream on Friday for the Gameheads organization that helps underprivileged youth get into the gaming industry and even create their own games. I played an assortment of games on the stream, but what's more important is supporting the organization. So if you guys would like to do so, there's a link to my campaign in the description where you can learn more about it, or if you'd like, you can even donate to it. Outside of the stream, I just started the Ace Attorney series and I've really been having fun with it. It's a very interesting experience, especially when you're sharing it with your friends on Discord, so I'd actually recommend it. Well, that's it for me. I'm going to be moving back to school sometime this week, so if the schedule gets a little messy, then y'all know why. So hopefully, I'll see you all in the next week of gaming.